afternoon, students. This is Dr. Manyaka. I'm going to talk to you about your teaching practice 4, B.Ed Foundation phase. Today, we're going to focus on assessment 2. And I would like to show you my face, and then I'll remove my face to save your data. This is me, your lecturer. I think you've seen me from other videos as well. As I said, we're going to look at assessment 2, and here is my picture. I'm not sure why are there so many. The video today is going to be about, we start with communication all the time, and then we're going from there, we talk about the assessment itself. And also the fourth one, we're also going to look at the documents that we're requiring for assessment 2, and then the assessment date. This won't take very long. As you know, I'm your lecturer, Dr. Manyaka. I still get emails where I'm addressed as Dr. Khabo, but it's level 4. Please familiarize yourself who your lecturer is. And then my numbers is 0124296521 during working hours. But I always emphasize that the email is more important because I can answer the email at any time. But when you call, sometimes we are in meetings, sometimes we are in conferences. It's not easy to answer the phone all the time. My email is emanya@unisa.ac.za. Make sure it's correct. When you write, either on your subject line, you write the module code and assessment that you are inquiring about. For instance, you say TPF 3704, assessment 2, or assessment 50, whatever the case may be. Make sure that you use My Life all the time. Those who use private emails will usually not answer and ask you to use My Life email. Make use of My Life email at all times. The purpose of assessment 2 is to form part of formative assessment. We said assessment 1 when I spoke about it and said it makes up 10% of the year mark. The other 10% is made of the assessment 2. Those who are repeating might think that assessment 2 is 20%. It's not. It's 10% because we decided to credit assessment 1 as well. And this assignment requires 5 attachments. 5. I'm saying that because at level 4 it's 5, while others are 4. But remember, here it's 5 attachments. All of them, they must give you 100%. Each assessment is allocated 20%. So if you only have 1 attachment on your assessment, it means you're going to get 20%. If you have 2, it's going to be 40%. Don't come back and say, I submitted and there are there are attachments. I'm surprised why I didn't get 100%. This is one assignment where you can score the whole 100%. Now, here are the documents that we require for assessment 2. We need the supervisor report. We need the principal report. We need the mentor report, attendance register. You are given a form that you complete, and you've got proof of placement. In order, they go from the report from the principal and mentor. There you just fill in their details, but they must sign and show a complete date, an authentic date that is complete. Don't write just a date without a year or a year without dates. It doesn't make sense. Now, I'm showing you what is required from the template that you have. I'm just showing it to you, but you do have it in your assessment. Do not try to do your own booklet where you leave other things. If you feel it as it is, you won't miss anything. Here are the details. I won't go through them. The name of the school, the first one is about the school. And then here we are saying the second section, we say complete the following questions as honestly as possible. That's where you need to answer the questions, and it will differ from one student to another. And then at the end, we have a school stamp. Because you're going to schools that are registered, we expect them to have a stamp, and the stamp must have a date. If not, just ask them to write a date here. Then we're going to need the principal's signature. The date here will tell us if you did teaching practice in this year. And trust us, I know we might not look to be those very intelligent people, but from experience, we know what we're talking about. So you really must make sure that the school stamp is authentic and it has a date which is complete. Then you have your attendance register. I didn't do the mentor template because it's almost the same as the principal. You are given an attendance register form. Then this should be attached to your assessment too. I'm not going to talk about other assessments, but this is the first assessment where you must have your register. The declaration is very important. The register has the whole weeks that you'll be attending the school. Do not worry, you complete it completely. Even on the other requirements, you still complete it as it is. Don't leave out some weeks. The declaration from the principal, HOD, or mentor, it means either of the three can sign the declaration where they are saying, me as the principal or head of department of the above schools, and I as a mentor, if you are a mentor, we should have made them in one line, but it's okay. Then you say, I confirm so and so. Let them complete the declaration for you. Don't do it yourself, because we are able to see with your handwriting that it was you who completed. And make sure that they choose whether you have attended or did not. They mustn't leave it open. In other words, you take the responsibility to look at your forms to see if they are properly completed. They must cancel the did not so that we know that you attended, and they write the date. When they show that you have attended, it also say the full teaching practice period. This is very important to us. A declaration, take it like an affidavit. It's very binding. If there's something wrong, we are able to go back to them and say, you did declare here. Why do we hear that the student hasn't been to the school? Or why does it show that the information is not talking to each other? So this is a very serious document. And also, you are supposed to add confirmation of teaching practice placement. When you do this, make sure that it means you have already did a placement on the link that is given by the teaching practice office. Use your tutorial 102 to confirm that. You have two links. If you have one problem with a link, like two students come back and say, I completed the link, but the principal hasn't received the code that confirms that I'm coming to the school. Then use the other one, which is a Microsoft generated. Then you use that one and complete it. Don't write to me, I don't have a system to release any confirmation or to give you a supervisor. Then this means that as soon as you complete your registration, you arrange with the principal to saying that I want to come and do teaching practice at your school at this day. And if the dates are not available, they give you a date. So you start the ball rolling just after your registration. Don't wait. And this proof of placement is needed before you start your teaching practice. The booking, as I said, is done online, you are given a link, but there's also a Microsoft form, which is an alternative link that you can use should you have challenges with the first official link. And this, I'll emphasize, the proof of placement should be included in your assessment too. If you have any challenges, please address this with the teaching practice office in your province. The initial list that you gave for teaching practice coordinators in your province did not have their actual email addresses, but as soon as we got the one with the actual email addresses that have their surnames, I posted that on Moodle on announcements. So you cannot say you don't have their details. We also need a proof of supervision evaluation. On this, we call it an evaluation or assessment form, which is going to be completed by an external supervisor. Let me pause a little bit and explain who the external supervisor is and what their responsibilities are. External supervisors are appointed by UNISA. They are contracted to the university, but they are external. They are not lecturers. We as lecturers are also going to assess you, especially now that we're able to do online assessments. You'll see a lot of lecturers assessing some students. And when you submit the form, you are going to be assessed on a lesson that you have taught. Some students ask that should I do more than one assessment, or meaning that should I be assessed in 3 different lessons so that I can attach the supervisor report to all the assessments? You don't have to. You just make a copy of the same one and attach it. You just need one lesson to be assessed in. And if you're doing teaching practice 3 and 4, just make sure that you choose to be assessed for teaching practice 4, because it is compulsory. When you submit the whole document. But in your assessment 50, portfolio 50, there's somewhere where they ask the supervisor to sign. Let them sign, but still attach the whole report. The assessments can be done online or face-to-face, or it is the responsibility of the student to follow up for supervisor allocation. If you haven't yet been allocated a supervisor, which should be, because it should be part of your confirmation letter, but perhaps you are trying to call the supervisor and they are not answering, life happens. They might be deceased, or they might be sick, or they might not been allocated the work again after they've submitted their documents. Maybe something happened with their contract. So just make sure that you go back to the coordinators in your province. Then you ask for a supervisor. They will organize that. You only talk to me after you didn't get joy from your teaching practice coordinators in the province. Then you can contact me. But I've also included the managers for teaching practice in the query shell. You can write to them and copy me. This is only after you made efforts to talk to the teaching practice coordinators in your province. Just know that as lecturers, we are not able to allocate supervisors. We don't have the system to. Our responsibility is content related. This is what you should remember at all times. Submission due dates, these are included on the assessment shells for each assessment. In other words, assessment 2, it will have the submission date, but just to repeat, is on the 28th of September at 15 hours, 3 o'clock. Don't write to me that we know the due days to be 12 o'clock, midnight. Things have changed. Our system is able to sift the number of students that the system can accommodate per date and per time. If by 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, there are many modules in the institutions that need to submit at that time, when I choose that time, it rejects it. So I take the time that is available, meaning that for assessment 2 on the 28th September 2023, come 3 o'clock, the system closes. Do not wait for the last minute. In every issue of life, if we wait for the last minute, any small obstruction is going to throw you out. It is your responsibility to ensure that you find a school as soon as possible. I'm emphasizing that so that you have a confirmation letter. If you have a confirmation letter, you have the mentor reports, you'll only be left with a supervisor evaluation form to attach. Prepare that, and the early bird usually catches the fattest worm. Make sure you submit before the due date, and it's easy for this assessment to get 100%. This one and assessment 1, you can get 100%. You are now sorted for the 20% of your year mark. In conclusion, make sure all assessments are completed well in time. We all studied through distance education, or most of us. We know that we always leave things for the last minute. I advise you, you are in your final year of completing your studies. Do not become your own enemy by waiting for the last minute. This is the end of my presentation, and I'm going to repeat this quote because I like it. Open quotes: he who labors diligently need never despair, for all things are accomplished by diligence and labor. Close quotes. I wish you all the best. Thank you.